As a former serviceman myself, meaning I used to service men in exchange for money, I know the meaning of true sacrifice. I know what it means to be used, abused, spat on, and lubed, and I also know when my time is up. I've no longer got any skin in that game, as I saw which way the sticky wind was blowing and I knew my time was up. I just didn't know it would happen so damn soon. And I for sure did not know, and nor could I predict, that it would come in the form of basic AI structures. I'd like you to meet Brian, a very eccentric individual who believes in one thing: saving the world one load at a time. Brian is the CEO and founder, as well as one of the engineers behind this innovative new technology known simply as Orifice, the world's very first linked sex toy. For men at least, or at least I think. In the interest of transparency, I learnt about Brian and his product through the YouTubers Internet Today, and I am using the exact same article that those YouTubers used for reference and details on the product. Big ups to them boys, because I've been watching them literally since I was 15 years old, all the way back in the ETC machinima days. Not so much nowadays, as they've become unbelievably biased in the way they report news, literally to the point it's become insulting, but I still give them a click every once in a while for nostalgia's sake. Just like Brian will give a lot of you watching this video right now some nostalgia of your own very soon, because I'm supremely confident that a lot of you will be using his product very, very soon. The Orifice, simply put, is the start of the pulsating revolution. Think pocket, but better. According to Brian, the purpose and the point of the product is to respond to the way it is being used by the individual. I don't know why I keep doing this with my hands. For some reason I think I'm Steve Jobs when referring to anything involving technology, even one that you just bust into. The product, according to Brian, senses what is being used. Whether it be your fingers or your very own orifice, it loosens or tightens depending on what's interacting with it. And it also auto-generates an AI voice so it can respond appropriately and in real time. For example, if you're a gentleman like me, who always eats his plastic before using it, if it was the orifice, it would respond to me doing that. The point being to ultimately progress to where this is possible.
No. 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 No.
It bears repeating, as a former serviceman, I've seen many horrors on the front line, and they've come in many different shapes. But this video even sent a chill down my spine. Also, it's worth mentioning that Brian has a wife, so just keep that in mind going forward. Now, of course, like for any modern genius, it was only a matter of time before the press came hounding about this brand new technology. That's where Samantha Cole of the 404 comes in clutch, who interviewed Mr. Brian about this revolutionary new product, which gave us some insight into Brian as a person, because Brian isn't simply motivated by the act of gooning, he's more so interested in the evolution of gooning. A direct quote from Brian reads as, "Existing toys for men are dead, limp, flaccid, gay. He has a wife. They don't react if you move. They don't move because you move. Bullshit. He has a spouse. Nobody has had the balls to make a sex toy for men that isn't a piece of shit until now. A human woman is married to this individual." He went on to state what can only be regarded as the world's longest yap session, so allow me to 2x speed it.
The relationship between women and men is broken. The data shows that. Everyone knows it. The top 20% in the gene pool don't care. They're not caring as genetic warfare. All social actions taken against Orifice or protest, be it in form of tweet or article or legislation, will be gene warfare. Everything comes down to reproduction, and we're going to take non-reproductive sex with human women off the table as a commodity. It's gone. Can't trade money for it. Can't trade a meal for it. You could spend hours contemplating the consequences of that, good or bad. It's going to end crime. It's going to wipe out job functions. Because sex is about reproduction, and everything breaks when you break that. Our roles don't make sense. Our institutions don't make sense. Nothing makes sense. When men stop seeking non-reproductive sex from human women, it's going to lead an increase in reproductive sex, and it's going to save the world.
Brian is a bit of a fucking weirdo, if you couldn't tell. You see, if you are to believe Brian at face value, the reason why he's designing the perfect pleasure bot is out of concern for the decline in the human population. To Brian, sex that isn't about reproduction should be strictly banned. And the purpose of this device is to allow men, I guess, to have as much simulated sex as they possibly want with as many partners as they possibly want. It doesn't take a male feminist with a degree in pandering to figure out that Brian might be somewhat of an incel, making references to the so-called 20% top gene pool and saying that sex should be strictly for reproduction are trademark incel sayings. But it's also entirely possible that Brian, much like the YouTuber Vaush, doesn't believe in a fucking word he's saying, and is just saying these things for rage marketing and some of that sweet cash cash, baby. It may just shock you hoes out there, but people are willing to do anything for their product, and hoes do be doing, especially in the modern era, when there's a very short attention span economy, and what grabs someone's attention more than anything than pissing them off. I think I may be being a little bit optimistic that Brian is putting on a performance as a married incel in order to sell a few more plastic slap machines, but it's also entirely possible that this product in its entirety is just a scam, and for that I'm just basing it on vibes of the website alone. I've been around the block a few times, homie. I can sense the scam for the same reason I know not to be alone in a room with my granddad. One too many bad experiences. I felt the force when Gotham Knights was coming out. I straight up said that dumb ass chip was garbage years ago in a video that's been deleted because it was a little bit too racist, and I knew outright from the get-go that Elon's Cybertruck was a clunky piece of shit, although I'm pretty sure everyone knew that. Point being that this product is definitely technically feasible. I have no trouble in believing that at all, as we've already seen the proof in the pudding with presidents and gaming lobbies.
Hey guys, and today we're gonna... Trump, did you just say hey guys? Hey guys is a very offensive term and some people may feel excluded. Speak before you think, bro.
Biden, it's think before you speak, and can we also not talk about such a sensitive topic? We're here to play Mario.
Biden, get your liberal ass out of here. I will use hey guys whenever I want.
And Taylor Swift getting simulated backshots, but personally I just don't think Brian is the one who is capable of doing it. To me, he seems like a simple, humble programmer. That programmer being way over his head in his literal goon cave. And from the programmers that I've known, I couldn't trust them to effectively brush their teeth, let alone launch an extremely ambitious and hefty project, a revolutionary one at that, by the end of December of this year. Will this technology eventually come out? Oh yeah, you betcha. And it will be horrifying when it does. I can't even imagine the monsters that it will create. Forget about dudes who go on the second page of the hub as the problem. Forget about dudes who literally pay for a subscription for one individual person when there's hundreds upon millions of terabytes of free content out there. Imagine the guy who generates himself a new woman every single night and every afternoon and every morning, and maybe at 11 a.m. and maybe once again at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. This product will straight up make men impotent, as there's not a single woman alive who could meet their standards, and even if there is, that woman will want nothing to do with a man who has entered the literal matrix for a bust. Baby, we got dinner with my parents, hurry up! Give me a second, baby. Daddy's got a code. Naturally, this is a sexist product by its very definition, and naturally you have women who are natural and free, with hairy armpits and stinky BO, very cross about this. And sure, I could pull up some tweets for examples, but ladies, I'm a male feminist. Allow me to not only talk over you, but talk for you, without consulting you. These bitches don't like it. I mean, it is literally turning a woman into a literal object, and if I'm pretty confident in saying they won't like that, they sure as hell won't like the fact that this object is literally sex. It's also natural that these ladies are gonna have to grow up. Bro, in 50 years and maybe even less, we will literally have walking, talking sex robots, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm a firm believer that there's only two things that guide a man's hand: sex and violence. I make these videos so you and I can have sex, and I get violent against my own willy when that doesn't happen. And you watch these videos because same. And I also forgot where I was going with this. But progress is inevitable. And unfortunately, this is a side effect of that progress. Maybe even a motivator of it. I can't tell what's real or not anymore. And if this is or becomes real, I'll have to buy it and update you on it. The only way that happens is if you legally subscribe to Dino. That's all I have to say on the matter, guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye.